You've been taught that productivity comes from pushing, from fear, from the pressure of deadlines, the threat of failure, the threat of being fired, from staying motivated through willpower and discipline. And hustle culture has convinced you that the best work comes from that nervous system that's constantly under threat. That you produce more when you're stressed, more from when you're tired and just running out of adrenaline. And I know I've said that, but neuroscience actually tells a different story. Your brain produces dopamine, the neurotransmitter that's responsible for motivation, creativity, focus, and desire, not when you're under threat, but when you're experiencing pleasure. Completely counterintuitive to everything that we've been taught. A nervous system in actual pleasure, the state of pleasure and ease, actually produces more, creates better work, and sustains productivity longer than a nervous system running on fear and cortisol, that stress hormone. Hustle culture hasn't just gotten this wrong. It's building an entire system that actively suppresses the neurochemical condition that's necessary for real productivity. Dopamine is that molecule of motivation, not happiness, but motivation. It's a neurotransmitter that makes you want to pursue things. It makes goals feel worth pursuing. It makes creative work actually engaging and makes focus feel possible. When your dopamine levels are healthy and regulated, you naturally want to work. You naturally want to solve the problems. You naturally want to create, and work doesn't feel like punishment. It feels worth doing because it's enjoyable. Cortisol is released when your nervous system perceives threat. Flood your system in a response to fear, to pressure, and to danger. And cortisol is useful when you're in acute situations, being chased by the lion. It realizes your body to deal with those immediate threats. But chronic cortisol, kind released by constant hustle, chronic stress, and the pressure to always produce, always be on. It doesn't enhance productivity, it actually depletes it. Chronic cortisol is actually suppressing dopamine. A nervous system bathed in stress hormones is a nervous system with depleted motivation neurotransmitters. We have been conditioned that threat and pressure enhances productivity, when in fact, they suppress the neurochemical conditions that make real productivity possible. Why do we think this is? When your nervous system is regulated, when you feel safe, when you're not running on adrenaline, when you're not in survival mode, your prefrontal cortex, the part that actually handles strategy, creativity, complex thinking, and decision making, comes online. You can think clearly. You can access creative solutions. You can see the big picture and not just react to those immediate threats. Motivation doesn't have to be forced. You naturally want to work on things that matter to you. Creative problem solving becomes possible, not because you're pushing yourself, but because your brain has the neurochemical resources to do it. Your focus is better, your decision making is better, and your output is actually higher quality. Pleasure is not a distraction from productivity. Pleasure is a signal that your brain is in a state to do its best work. When you experience pleasure, when something you're working on actually feels good, when the work itself is engaging, when you're in a state of ease, your brain is releasing dopamine. It fuels your motivation, your creativity, your focus, and your decision making capacity. Pleasure isn't a reward you get after you've proven yourself through suffering. Pleasure is the neurochemical condition that makes you capable of doing the work that's actually worth doing. This changes everything about how you structure your work, structure your business. If pleasure creates that neurochemical condition for real productivity, then building pleasure into the work is strategic. It's not a luxury, it's actual strategy. Taking breaks to rest and restore your nervous system, it's not lazy. It's protecting the dopamine producing conditions that make work actually possible. Building ease into your business, it's not weakness. It's creating the conditions under which your brain can actually do the creative work that it needs to do. When you understand pleasure as a business tool instead of an obstacle to business, everything shifts.